UFC 308, man, just wrapped up, and I did pretty well, 9 for 13. Hey, that ain't bad at all right? But man, did I snipe that main event. Third round TKO for Ilia Topuria. I'll talk about that some more. But first, let me talk about the first fight. Carlos Leal gets robbed in the worst robbery I've ever seen. Okay, maybe not the worst, but the fact that I want to say it makes it the worst is that it was a unanimous decision. And one judge scored it 30-27. I go right back to the Nicholas Dalby fight. They gave Nicholas Dalby a round. You go back and watch that fight, you would say maybe convincing, a little bit more that Renat won the fight. This fight wasn't convincing. I thought he lost all 3 rounds. This was one of the worst decisions ever. And the dude who scored it 30-27, you are a fucking idiot and a bum. And you never need to come to, this organization and judge again. I believe your name was something Muhammad Ali. That kind of checks out, doesn't it? It's just a fucking embarrassing performance. Fakhretdinov's body language looked like shit. You could not tell me he won any part of that fight. Disgrace, man. It really is. And I don't even get pissed off about shit like this, but I picked Carlos Leal, and in the past I've talked so much shit about how Renat Fakhretdinov is not good. He's not good, and it just showed, okay? That was the time to place a big bet on Carlos Leal. That's what I did, and I should have won. As along with other people, I'm sorry if you bet that. It sucks because obviously he won the fight, man. Fucking ridiculous. Renat Fakhretdinov is a horrible fighter, and I've been saying it from the jump. You know what I mean? After the Dos Santos fight, I've been saying it since then. The dude is not that good. His wrestling is very mediocre. Go back to my video. I said that. It is. Not explosive, not fast. How many takedowns did he get in that fight? 1 or 2? How many did he shoot? There's no fucking way you can tell me he won that fight. And it's honestly, man, embarrassing, bro. It really is. I cannot stand on shit like that. A PFL guy on 7 days' notice. And granted, Carlos Leal is actually a very good fighter. He showed off his skill set, and I knew that coming in. That's why I picked the guy to win, because he is better. And he gets the loss on the fight, man. Just a disgrace, honestly, man. And the fact that I saw that guy judging another fight on the same card is ridiculous. He needs to get the fuck out. How in the fuck is that a unanimous decision? The media scores. Nobody scored it for Renat Fakhretdinov. Nobody. I believe 70% of the people from the media had Renat Fakhretdinov losing all 3 rounds. So how is this formulated? There are 3 judges. Not one of them gave it to Carlos Leal. Not one of them. And, to say that, Renat Fakhretdinov won every single round is an absolute, sin. I don't understand how you could possibly think that, man. It's a disgrace to the sport. I'm very, very upset with it because you guys know I've been the one hating on Renat forever. Like I talked about it even with the Dalby fight, man. I thought he was going to lose that fight. I bet on Dalby. There's a video like a couple weeks ago, me talking shit about Renat. He sucks. And it showed, okay? I'm not going to go, talk any more about that, but I hope you guys understand because that shit pisses me off, man. It's the type of shit that really pisses me off. But yeah, man, we'll move on. Good win for Carlos Leal in his debut. Ismail Nurdiev beats Bruno Silva to a decision. Very lackluster performance from Bruno Silva. I think he'll get cut, man. It was a very bad performance. I expected him to actually look a lot better. I did pick Nurdiev to win. He did come out and win the fight. He mixed in the takedowns well. The leg kicks were looking good. The straight shots, everything that I talked about and that he does well, came out and did. And really, really bad from Bruno Silva, man. This guy has completely fallen off a cliff from making fights competitive to, beating guys like a Brad Tavares, knocking him out. And 3-4 fight skid, I believe now. The guy's definitely on his way out in the UFC. I don't want to see him here anymore. A very bad performance from him. As for Nurdiev, he's very okay. Do I think he, makes a run at middleweight? I don't. I think he's a little bit small for the weight division. But when it comes to his skill set, it's pretty good. Good wrestling entries, good leg kicks. The boxing's pretty good. He's got good speed, good kicks as well. And pretty good performance from him. But I was more on the side of, man, Bruno Silva is not doing anything and he's horrible. So pretty good performance for Nurdiev. I did pick him by a decision. He got a decision win. So yeah, good for him. Kennedy Nzechukwu finishes Chris Barnett in the first round via a strange TKO. I did see that clip of Chris Barnett. I don't know what the hell happened. He fucked his Achilles up getting excited for the fight. But yeah, man, Chris Barnett, not great. But I do want to say this, man. I like Kennedy at heavyweight. He's a big body. You see him weighing at 241. You kind of think how much was he cutting to get to 205? Pretty interesting when you think about it. But yeah, he builds some muscle at heavyweight. The dude's got some chin problems. As you remember in that Dustin Jacoby fight, I mean, the dude got clipped barely and went out pretty much cold. So yeah, there are some chin problems, but the striking and the speed and the skill differential, it's gonna help him because he's much, much better. But I just worry about once he gets tagged with a big shot. You know what I mean? Obviously, Chris Barnett's not really going to be the guy to do it. But what happens if he goes up against a guy like, even a guy like Tai Tuivasa, who, if he hits you, it's not going to be great. I kind of wonder how he takes a shot from a guy like that. But when it comes to the all-around skill set, he's going to be a lot better than, some of these trash cans like Parisian or Boudet or some dog shit, or Jake Collier, those guys, Austin Lane, he's going to be better than those guys when it comes to the skill set by far. But I just worry about, his ability to take a shot because it's not that good. But yeah, man, I thought Kennedy looked good. I wonder if that's it from Chris Barnett. I believe he's 38 years old. We'll see what happens. I mean, he's still a fun fighter you can throw against a can at a prelim pay-per-view. Everybody's going to love him. So I think they should keep him around, but that's just my opinion. And good win for Kennedy. Abbas Magomedov gets the third round submission over Bruno Ferreira. Look, man, Abbas, I talked about his skill set, and I really wish, I talked about his wrestling as well, which he used a good amount here, but I wish, in that second round where you kind of saw Bruno pressuring a lot, he would have just shot a double leg and got it, because, I mean, he was getting Bruno down real easily, and, I felt like that was a bit of a weakness in Bruno Ferreira's game. I did think that was a weakness, and I would have liked to see him, seeing Abbas shoot that double leg when you saw Bruno get so aggressive in that second round, because I think it would have made the fight easier. But he gets a submission win in the third. He did get cracked in the second, but in the first, maintaining that range, great, snapping shots up. He's got a really nice check hook he used. That front kick was looking good. Abbas Magomedov, man, when I say things about these fighters, his skill set is really good. He can wrestle, he can strike. It's just like the dude's frail. You know what I mean? He looks weird. He's like, his cardio is horrible. He barely really got hit by Bruno and got dropped and hurt. But yeah, man, when you look at the skill set of Abbas Magomedov, it kind of makes you think, damn, this guy's actually pretty good. He obviously has lost to Kyle Borjalho, which was a bit of a weird one. I kind of feel like he didn't look great in that fight, worried about the takedowns, and kind of just got mixed up by Kyle Borjalho. But honestly, Kyle Borjalho looked bad in that fight too. If you really think about it, it was a very, very boring fight. But Abbas Magomedov is actually a good fighter. He's got good skill set. With a win like Bruno Ferreira, man, you kind of look at it and you say, he's really kind of close to the rankings. I mean, honestly. So yeah, a good win for that man, Abbas Magomedov, and we'll see what's next for him. That nice little arm triangle. We'll see what's next for the dude. Mateusz Rębecki beats Myktybek Orolbai. Man, I was happy to see this one because I had told, this was my most confident underdog pick by far. I really was high on Rębecki to win this fight. He comes out there and gets it. I put money on him as well to win. I believe I got it 260, I think. So, that line was ridiculous to me. And I know what Rębecki does well, and I know what Myktybek does well. And I kind of feel like the skill set and the style of both guys, it favored Rębecki. So, he comes out there in the first round, pieces up Myktybek Orolbai. Good, hits him with that one shot that fucking busted the caveman's eye up, man. You know what I mean? It was a bomb, and I thought the fight would have been over right there. In the second round, I thought it was actually, I could have leaned and said that was a Rębecki round. That cut that we saw was from a headbutt. Obviously, whoever the ref was did not say it. But yeah, that cut was from a headbutt, and it wasn't really a round where Myktybek Orolbai really, really definitively won. So I thought that could have been a Rębecki round. And in the third, I actually do want to say this. Whatever judge scored the third round to Myktybek Orolbai, you need to get the fuck out as well. How in the fuck could you have possibly scored it? That he hurt Myktybek Orolbai real bad and was about to have him out. And for you to score that to Myktybek Orolbai is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Honestly, man. He reversed the position once and maybe landed 2 or 3 elbows. I don't know how in the fuck you could have had that scorecard, but you're another guy that I need to, have a chat with, because that doesn't make any sense, okay? He got dropped. He landed, Rębecki landed about, 40 shots unanswered. How the fuck did you get that scorecard, man? This is the type of shit, guys, that just it really makes me mad because they try it, right? There's no way you should have gotten that. The third round was easily the most definitive for Rębecki, right? And that's the type of shit that really pisses me off, man, because I'm a fan and I want to see fair fights. And that's 2 fights where weird shit's happening, right? But yeah, man, what a war. What a fight. I actually tweeted, y'all go follow me on Twitter. I tweeted like fight of the night coming up before the fight came up, and it was definitely fight of the night. I mean, a hell of a fight. Myktybek stood in there, stood strong, but at the end of the day, Rębecki got the win, and I thought it was well deserved. I think it was a close fight, but I think the clear side was Rębecki. He landed that devastating shot in the first, burst his eye up as he got outstruck in the first, but you could tell the harder shots were definitely coming from Rębecki. And then in the third round, it should have been no question. But yeah, we got stupid judges, and good win for Rębecki, man. I hope y'all boys, tailed that play, because that was a big one I was heavy on. And as well as the Leal one I was as well. And, it would have been nice to get that one, but it is what it is, man. And great win for Mateusz Rębecki. Look, I'm actually going to combine these next two. Geoff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos, and Ibo Aslan versus Coqueiro. The Geoff Neal fight, I thought he was looking good. And then, Rafael dos Anjos is moving up and down weight classes. He's 40 damn years old. Obviously something's going to go off. I hope Unk just packs it up, bro, please. We don't want to see you here anymore. You seem like you got a great family. I was watching on Embedded, but brother, we're not trying to see you fight anymore. All right. You don't got it anymore. You've lost a lot of fights in a row. You lost to Vicente Luque, man. And we've seen after the Geoff Neal. So we've seen what Vicente Luque looks like. You lost to him. So, it's kind of like just get the hell out of the organization, man. You got to call it quits. You just got another injury. You're probably going to be 41 if you're coming back. Just call it quits, man. It's over, Unk. But I thought Neal looked good, man. I liked his hands. He was being aggressive. And the dude's still a problem, man. He really is. But, yeah, good win for Neal. And next up, Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Coqueiro. Man, I'm going to stick by what I said. Ibo Aslan is horrible. But, yeah, when I look back at the film of Rafael Coqueiro, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but he does have a tendency to let people hit him on the fence and just stand there. But I think it was more of that check hook hitting him, and his eyes rolled back in the back of his head. He went cross-eyed, actually. So, yeah, man, Ibo Aslan, you go back to that fight versus, Anton Sercali, just a horrible performance, and there's no way I could ever lay a bet on that guy. I think if they run that fight back, I would still pick Coqueiro. I think he wins that fight probably 7 out of 10 times. I'm telling you guys, the UFC team tried to make it like Ibo Aslan was going to be some star. The dude fucking sucks. He's horrible, okay? A guy, the dude is horrible. He's horrible, okay? Dustin Jacoby beats this guy probably 30-26, drops him multiple times. The guy is fucking terrible. He's a horrible fighter. So don't worry about, them saying, oh, this is a prospect on the rise. He sucks, okay? He loses his next fight. He'll be on the Apex cards in the prelims. He's a terrible fighter. Nothing to worry about there. But I guess a good win for him. He does have some pretty good pop. But other than that, he's a horrible fighter. No cardio, no technique, no ground game. He's horrible. So, yeah. Shara Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. I picked Armen Petrosyan. He got the loss. What a finish from Shara Magomedov. And I want to say this, guys, I really did not believe in the hands of Shara Magomedov, but he showed me, man. He was throwing some heavy leather and landing a lot, I was very impressed with his hands. And I know, coming into this, that Armen Petrosyan is a guy who's open to counter shots. And honestly, man, you saw the numbers on who landed more, this and that. I would tell you that 10 out of 10 times that Shara Magomedov won that first round, and I wanted Petrosyan to win, right? I picked him to win. But yeah, Shara Magomedov won that. He won that first round, no doubt. Okay, you could say the volume, but look at the shots landed, right? And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. But Shara Magomedov lands this crazy combination. But man, I really underestimated the dude's hands, and he showed that off. I thought Petrosyan had a decent game plan. I would have liked to see him test the wrestling, against that guy, and he's calling out to fight Israel Adesanya. I mean, it was a good performance. I'm not going to lie, but I think he needs a test, a guy. I feel, because if I'm being honest with you guys, I think Andre Petrosky submits him in the second round. You know what I mean? It's just like the styles make matchups. I got to see this guy first a grappler before he gets anything like that. I think, Andre Petrosky's a good test for him. I think Petrosky fucking destroys him. I have not been impressed with the ground game at all. Mikhail Alexsander is taking you down. That's all that needs to be said about that. Bruno Silva is taking you down. Okay, so we'll see what happens, man. But for that performance, it was great. Armen Petrosyan is a tough guy to get out of there, and a guy who does not get finished on the feet regularly. So a very good win for Shara Magomedov. But let's be real here. I'd like him to take some time off and work on the ground game because he's got to have a test, bro. Your champion of the division is Dricus du Plessis. You have no chance versus him if that fight happens. Let's be real here. But yeah, man, that's a good win for him. We'll see what happens in the future. I think, a matchup where he has to face somebody who has a little bit of grappling prowess would be a good fight for him, but we'll see what they do. And a good win for Shara Magomedov. Lerone Murphy beats Dan Ige to a decision. I picked Lerone Murphy to win this fight. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but if off the end of the fight, man, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did think Dan Ige won the fight. I really did. I thought he, especially in the first round, landed the bigger shots. And I will say this: the first round was Ige, and second round was Murphy. And then he got on the ground and he was controlled there for a lot. Granted, he didn't land a ton of stuff, and you could say the explosion from Lerone Murphy won him that fight towards the end. But to say that's a unanimous decision is kind of crazy to me. I kind of felt like the fight was extremely razor thin close. So I was surprised to see a unanimous decision. And but I thought Ige won the fight, honestly, guys. But I'd have to go rewatch it. You guys know I got to rewatch fights. It's in the moment. You don't know exactly. I don't have to rewatch that Carlos Leal fight, by the way. That was I was there for that. But yeah, that's a good win for Lerone Murphy, man. It's a tough, gritty win. He got dropped real bad. He did say in the to DC that it was a flash knockdown. That wasn't a flash knockdown, man. You were almost out. So I don't know what kind of flash that was. But yeah, he was almost out. Danny Ige almost put him away. And I was tempting the Ige. I did talk about how Ige could catch him because I do think there's opportunities, and he did. He caught him with a big-ass check hook, sat him down, hurt him bad, and almost had him out of there. But really impressive that Lerone Murphy came back and won that fight. It was a close fight. I thought Ige, won, but it is what it is, man. Still to come back and do that is very impressive. So, very good win for Lerone Murphy. We'll see what's next for him. I like to call out Emmett, but I think, he's more due of a fight. I'd like to kind of see Mitchell or something like that. Or you could do Emmett Mitchell too. No, I'm joking, but good win for Lerone Murphy, man. But like I said, I did think, Ige scratched out and should have gotten that decision. So yeah. Magomed Ankalaev beats Alexander Rakic to a decision. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really thought this was a 30-27. I really thought Magomed won every single round very easily. And do I think it was his best performance? No. But you can still see the upside in the guy, okay? And he definitely, if you don't think he gives problems to Ferreira, you're an idiot, right? We didn't see him wrestle at all for the most part. I heard people saying, oh, he doesn't wrestle this much. The commentators were saying that. He's going to wrestle against Ferreira. Why would he not? But even in the striking department, man, the guy's good. Okay, he's got a pistol of a left hand. He's got a fantastic check hook, great straight shots. And no, I don't think he's a better striker than Ferreira. Do I think he's a better striker than Ferreira or than anyone he's faced at light heavyweight? I do. I do think he's a better striker than Hill, Yuri, as well as Roundtree. I think he's much better than Roundtree, by the way. But yeah, man, his defense is what sets him apart. I think he's very good at getting in and out of range. He's fast. He's a good striker, man, okay? And people are disrespecting him. I think he earned the title shot. Rakic is not an easy guy to beat. And I was very, very confused with Rakic's corner telling him that he had won the second round and the first. So, Magomed was going to come out throwing heat. I don't know how he could have thought he won the second round. I mean, he got tagged with a lot of big shots. And I think it's a great win for Magomed Ankalaev, man. He looked good on the feet, not the most impressive, but it's still, he deserves a title shot. You cannot deny it. Khalil Roundtree got a fucking title shot, so it's not even a question that Magomed deserves it. But I did pick Magomed to dominate this fight. I thought he was going to be too fast on the feet, too good if the fight hit the ground. And I knew that, he did well checking the kicks pretty well. But a couple of them got through. But I think, Magomed's going to give Ferreira absolute hell of a fight. Magomed's got everything for him. He's speed, cardio, good striking, good defense, as well as great wrestling. I think Magomed Ankalaev beats Alex Ferreira, but we'll talk about that for another video. But good win for Magomed Ankalaev. Khamzat Chimaev beats Robert Whittaker. Man, it makes me sad. Okay, that's a good win for Khamzat Chimaev. And I want to say I was like, what the hell's he tapping for? But he fucked his jaw up, so that's why he tapped. If you didn't know. But man, I was, sad. All right. Because I wanted to see that fight go longer. I talked about it in my video, breaking down the whole fight. Like, it would just really suck if Khamzat came down and, came out and just took him down and submitted him in the first. And that's exactly what he did. But I said it was definitely a possibility. I mean, the guy has the best wrestling in the UFC. I've said that before, and I truly do believe that if you're able to take all these guys down like this, it's not easy to do. But yeah, man, I really would have liked to see what that fight would have played out like. But man, I got to give credit where it's due. Good win for Chimaev. Do I think it earns him a title shot over Strickland? I do, kind of. You know what I mean? But they'll probably give it to Strickland. The people want to see Chimaev DDP. There's no doubt about it. That's what we want to see. That's a mega fight that we have to see. Because honestly, bro, who the fuck wants to see Sean Strickland versus Chimaev? I mean, nobody wants to see that. We know what's going to happen. A person that's going to give Chimaev trouble is a guy that can – do I think Sean can defend takedowns well? Yeah. Do I think he can defend well enough? Nobody can, right? And DDP's a guy who actually is a threat on the feet, that can actually knock you out. And he's got a great ground game as well. We haven't seen his defensive ground game that much, but it's something he's going to have to work on. He's also a way stronger and bigger guy than Robert Whittaker and Sean Strickland. So we'd see how it goes, man. That'd be a crazy fight. I don't know what Khamzat's availability is looking like when it comes to coming to America. Because if we're being honest, man, why would Dricus du Plessis go to Abu Dhabi and fight for his fucking belt? Why would he do that? That would be stupid of him, but at this point I wouldn't be surprised. The UFC seems to love Khamzat Chimaev, and it kind of sucks that Rob, dislocated his jaw. But that shit happens, man. I was very confused. I was like, what happened? What happened? But because typically, I mean, let's be real, man. Neck crank, you can let it out a little bit. We've seen guys like even Connor just, have a little bit longer of success, but it was very quick, very, very quick. He got his jaw dislocated, and I think finishing Robert Whittaker in the first round should get you a title shot over going to a split decision with Paulo Costa, honestly. But that's what the people want to see, man. du Plessis versus Chimaev. We don't give a fuck about Strickland, man. You know what I mean? Too bad, too sad, bro. Get your ass back in that apex, because that's where he was, if y'all didn't know, always. But good win for Chimaev, man, and sucks I got my pick wrong. Very wrong, actually. Ilia Topuria knocks out Max Holloway. This guy, I talked about his skill for skill being the best fighter in the world. I talked about how he's the best boxer. There's no argument, okay? I have been saying this for a while. When you look at the guy's technique, his speed, there's nobody better than him on the feet in terms of their boxing. You can say Poirier, but he's got a hillbilly hick style of just throwing, stupid punches. He's not that technical. Holloway's not that technical. I would say Maddalena and Jan are the most, closest to him when it comes to that, but he's still the most technical, man. He is an incredible fighter. And Max was doing well. He was. And I think that's the hardest matchup for Ilia Topuria in the featherweight division. Guys, he's going to run through everybody. Okay. These Diego Lopez fans, he's going to fucking destroy Diego Lopez. Okay. He is going to destroy Diego Lopez. The only way that Diego Lopez wins that fight is if Ilia Topuria jumps in his guard and, something like that. He's not taking Topuria down. He ain't knocking him out, and he's going to gas out. And Ilia Topuria is not a guy you want to gas out against. He's not losing to anybody at featherweight. Throw a name up. Volk, we don't want to see that fight. Come on, man. We don't care about that. Volk, brother, you're sleeping, man, still. But yeah, man, I'm going to make a video on that actually after this. But there's nobody that's beating this guy in the featherweight division. He is skill for skill the best fighter on the roster. I will, confidently say that. His power, his technique is undeniable, man. His speed. And, I thought the fight was going well for him. I thought it was 1-1. I would have kind of leaned the side of, Max Holloway in the first round. But the second round, you kind of saw, Ilia was landing some big shots. And Max still ate some big fucking shots, dude. And then he eventually got finished. But I said third round TKO. It happened, man, That you guys want to know, okay? I haven't really said this about for this fight, but you go back, I have been saying this. I have gotten one main event prediction wrong on pay-per-views this year. So I've been extremely accurate, and that was Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. If you need the receipts, I will get them. But yeah, man, Ilia Topuria is an absolute monster of a fighter. He is a monster. Okay, nobody's beating him. But yeah, man, a very good win and a very fun card, man. I really enjoyed it. Some fantastic fights, and Ilia Topuria, and still very good fighter. I will catch y'all boys in the next one.